This is the Bolder Than Most podcast, where we talk with those making bold moves in business, real estate, and life. I'm your host, Trey Jacobs. Thank you for being here. Let's jump right in. Welcome back to the Bolder Than Most podcast. My name is Trey Jacobs, and today I got Demetrius Baxter out of Arizona. Arizona, what part of Arizona are you in?
We're in Mesa, bro. We're in the
Mesa.
mountains. We're in the mountains,
Okay.
looking down on the valley right now.
So you got like Red Rocks and everything?
Yeah, I'm right here by Red Mountain, right here by the Snake River. We're like 5 minutes from the Snake River. We literally hit the freeway, and you can see the whole valley. It's beautiful.
Wow. I've not the first. So when I met you at Race Fest, that was actually the first time I had ever been in Arizona.
Word.
Yeah, it was beautiful. I wanted to get out there and experience more like Sedona, but I just didn't have time. And it's
You got to, man.
Yeah.
You come out here to do that. Let me know. Like, I would love to roll up there with you, bro. It'll blow your mind. It'll open your consciousness. I promise you.
Really?
There's something
like
going
that?
on up there. Yeah, there's something going on up there in the high desert. Our first experience in the high desert was mind blowing. Like, you're dealing with two
Really?
people who have me and my wife have very, Latina, we have very open consciousness, and it was emotional. It was eye opening. Like, you have to be prepared for it. And then we've taken family members and other people since then. If you're tuned in and you're adept to your spiritual side, there's something going on out here for sure.
You think you could drive? Like, how far is the drive from Dallas to Sedona?
It took us, man. I wish he was sitting right here. I would ask. I want to say it's a 20. I want to say it's a 19. How long is the drive from Houston to Phoenix? 7. So it's 17 hours. So I would say from Houston to, and of course I know you're saying Dallas. So I'm gonna say Houston. So Houston, that's where my roots are, Johnny Dang and them. Houston, Houston to our front door in Superstition Springs was 17 hours. We always stop in El Paso because West Texas is just that's forever.
Right.
And then the drive from El Paso, I want to say to the front door is like 5-6 hours. So you're looking at another 2.5 to 3 hours. So if you add 8 hours to that from Dallas. And that's if you go south and over, south to the 10 and over. But I bet from Dallas you could go diagonally.
There's something. Yeah, there's something. There's got to be. Yeah.
So let's call it 20 hours. Let's call it 24 hours.
Yeah, but that rate is probably better to fly. We need a good family trip. So
It's
put that on the
baby.
list.
Yeah, you got Slide Rock. You got Slide Rock. You got all of Sedona, which will overtake your whole soul and spirit, and it's beautiful up there. Great food, great shopping, and then if you go a couple more hours, you're gonna be at the Grand Canyon, and that's just
Really. Man.
And then when you stand on the Grand Canyon, let me tell you something. We were kind of chatting before we started. If you don't believe there's a God, you stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon. Something created that. Something did that. Something did that. It's mind blowing. Every time we go, it's overtaking.
Man. Yeah, definitely got to get out there and check it out. And you said that your roots, you're Houston, H-Town?
Yeah, so Houston was, I always joke and say, Houston is where we made our name and our fortune. We were there for 15, 16 years. I'm originally from the Bay Area, went to school in the Northwest, left from there, went to the military, went to the Navy, and went down south.
Wait. Northwest.
Yeah.
Where Northwest?
Portland, Oregon. So
Portland,
Oregon.
I used to live right outside of Portland.
Okay, so you know the area very well. So
Not
it was
very
nothing.
well, but well enough. Yeah.
Okay, well, shit. Last week I was right there at Quill Valley doing a charity golf tournament.
I saw you went to the Nike store employee store.
Store. Yeah.
Man, I was jealous.
Oh man, hey. Like
that employee store. A lot of boxes. I almost called you. I'm like, yo, look, I'm a size 13 of whatever they got.
I wish you would. You know what? I wish you would have. And to everybody who sees this, who knows me, who knows you, it ain't nothing to give me a call. Like, hey, we'll deal with that offline. But yeah, don't ever be shy. Like, I wish you were. You had my number too. You had my personal number.
I know.
I wish you would have called me. I'd have had you, bro. I'd have had you.
That
Yeah,
employee store is something special. Like,
yeah, it is.
man,
It is. The whole campus.
Beaverton, Oregon, the whole
Yeah.
campus. We tried to go in there one time. We got kicked out because I guess you're not supposed
No,
to.
yeah,
It's not
bro.
open to the
When
public,
I
but
when I say I grew up across the street, I was a little bit further down the road at first. I came up from California when I was 6 or 7, and so I was one of the first. Like I was joking that weekend at the golf tournament. I was one of the first like black faces to show up on that side of town, and bring my whole Cali swag. Even as a young boy, you brought a different swag, and I kept it forever. But like my athletics was right there, like my little, my football career was right there. It started right there. My whole athletic career started right there. So the campus is mythical. I've been on campus, trained on campus. I know people that work on campus ever since I was little. It was nothing for me to make a call and get onto the employee store. Like that's a thing to people that can be untouchable, but like a lot of things in my life, man, I'm here to prove to you it's real and we can touch it. And if you need something.
hey guys, my company, Paige Capital Group, is actively sourcing and buying multifamily deals. If you're looking to put your money to work, gain some tax efficiencies, and grow your portfolio while we do all the heavy lifting, go to pagecapitalgroup.com/invest. That's Paige, Paige, capitalgroup.com/invest, and someone from our team will reach out. Now, back to the show.
You make a call or you text, and I got you.
Yeah, if you've never been to the employee store, it's just like a magical place where everything is like 30%, 50%, 70% off. It's just
Willy
like,
Wonka. It's Willy Wonka's
it's
chocolate
crazy.
factory.
Yeah,
I had to look. Funny story. I had to check my carry-on. I put a very small carry-on. It was just a couple days. I checked the carry-on to carry on 2 big ass bags, and I mean the full size bags with everybody's stuff in it. Yeah.
All right. So and the Bay. So God, man, you're all over the place. So you
And
was
the
the
Bay.
Bay to Portland to Houston to Arizona
to Florida. Florida's in there. Tokyo is in there. I lived
Pensacola?
Pensacola, Florida, NATTC Pensacola, Naval Air Technical Training Center. Went from there to back to the Northwest to Washington, where the base was, and then finished training there, and was in Japan for 4 years. Then back to California, and then to Houston. I mean, yeah, man. But my roots originally, like from the Bay, like I was telling you, me and my Uncle Jason, I didn't know what he was doing. My Uncle Jason used to buy tapes from this guy called Earl at the Vallejo, one of the parks right there off Magazine. I didn't know that Earl was E40. That's who he was buying tapes from.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah.
Damn,
and so like,
okay.
it's super deep, man. Like it's super. Like all those ancillary things are always very interesting in my past.
Yeah,
the building blocks, bro.
I come from a military or a Navy family as well. We were stationed out in Oak Harbor, and then he went down to Pensacola, and then we were in Patuxent River Naval Air Station in Maryland for a while. I was a Navy contractor for a little bit.
Okay. What did you work on?
I worked on the F-35 project, but the maintenance software. I did, QA and a little bit of design work for that project. That was, the F-35 project, billions of dollars over budget.
Come on,
but I was part of it's kind of cool.
No, that's not kind of cool. That's majorly cool, bro. That's majorly cool. Yeah.
So, bro, and one thing I can't, when I think back to peak partnership, David Goggins is speaking. You get the mic and you sound off in front of David Goggins, bro. What was that like?
In all honesty, my thing, I heard it. Well, obviously, I saw ahead of time that Goggins was going to be there. For the second year in a row, I know enough people and I make enough rounds. And our business is in a place, BBX Capital's in a place. I'm not trying to rush the platinum tickets quite yet, right? I'm good with the gold tickets. Like, we're good with the gold tickets. We get around and see enough people.
Yeah.
But I saw that Goggins was speaking, and I have a very good relationship with Tyler. And I was like, bro, we were talking. We weren't at dinner. We were talking. And I was like, bro, we were talking on DM. And I said, Goggins is going to be at peak. Man, I didn't buy a platinum, but I need to speak to him. I got to speak to him. I just got to speak to him somewhere. And my thing was, I don't need to have a conversation with him because, as my wife stated, who had never been around she'd been around a couple of my military friends, but she hadn't been around like us when we're all amped up, and she'd never seen it. And my thing was, I needed to speak to Chief and let him know that I know that he knows that we're the same. So I needed to speak to him on our level, and make sure that that was understood, that he's speaking to one of his brothers, So that sound off was not planned, prepared. It wasn't rehearsed. I mean, it's easy for me to do. I'm not going to do it right now, but I could do it right now. But I needed him to understand who he was speaking to. I needed him to understand what command he was speaking to. I needed him to understand what petty officer he was speaking to. I needed him to understand. It's like anything, right? You could say, hey, I played in the NFL. I played 18 months. I had a year contract. I got cut my second year, and all I did was play on the practice squad. We still respect that. We still 100% respect that. You went further than all the rest of us did, but you weren't talking to that. I needed him to understand you were talking to somebody who put in the long work, and we speak in the same language. And then I also needed to make sure that the story I told was, when I say my son was around here, my little youngest son, Messiah, was really around here, shirt off, who's going to carry the boats, dropping and doing 50 push-ups, at 4 and 5 years old. Like, he saw those videos and it messed with him. And it was super important, because when you share a battlefield or a battlefield time, when you share that with somebody, even if it may be from a distance, what I worked on was EA6Bs, and what we did is electronic warfare. So we quiet the battlefield. Like, if you were looking on CNN, you'll see all the guns going off, and you'll see all the anti-aircraft stuff going off, and then it gets silent. And then you see, like, we made that happen. But that's what's on the news. What you don't see is when they land on the flight deck in their stealth helicopter and they're there, and you realize, oh, shit just got real. You know what I mean? And we're working with these guys now. And maybe he wasn't on those missions, and I don't know his service record, but I just needed him to understand that he was speaking to a brother, and the question I was about to ask and our interaction was going to be at a heightened level.
Right. How has Goggins impacted you and your family, it seems?
When I sat back down, my wife, as people will see this know, me and Latina work together. BVX Capital is us. She listened. She had never seen him talk online, had never seen anything. Shout out to Meg Card. Meg Card sent us his second book. And she had my wife had heard me talk about David, but didn't know what it was or what was it. He spoke. He did the whole thing at peak. And she turned to me and she said, so this sounds like our house. Like, this isn't new. Like, this is normal for the house. Like, when I whisper in his ear, like, he knows about making sugar cookies. I've trained with these guys. I've worked out with these guys. I am one of these guys, if you will. This is how the house is run. This is how it speaks. This is how it was normal for her. But for my children, I have a son who is very interested in aviation, who wants to be a naval aviator. I have a long line of, military members in my family. But for the youngest, who usually has it the easiest, to find Goggins by accident because he had my YouTube open on the TV, and see that there's men who act like this is not just localized to my house. Now, that's not to say that my house is some dictatorship. My house is pretty freaking fun. Like, if you could be a 10-year-old in my house, like, you picked the right house. But he saw somebody who spoke like his daddy and acted like his daddy. And like I said, my wife could co-sign it. It's normal. Like, this is a normal thing. So for my youngest to see that, is a part of somebody else's life, and it's normal for my wife to understand that this is how people really do this. Yeah, it's an everyday thing for us, man. It was nothing new, and it's a beautiful thing though. To finally to touch with him and shake hands and speak to him, it just meant something. It just meant something because we're from the same brotherhood.
It was pretty cool to see, man. And I know that was there like 1,000 people in that room? Everybody felt it, so it was just a dope moment. I'm glad you got that. I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, no, that was dope. It was dope. Shout out to Tyler for that. He made that happen for sure. I know he did. I'm gonna buy him a steak for that.
You know what is I have some gripes with Tyler, but he's a good guy. He got me backstage to meet Jamie Lima. How's her name? God, yeah.
No, her book is right here. Jamie Lima. You said it right here. Worthy.
Yeah. So I went backstage and I got to meet her and got to chat with her. It was cool, man. It was really cool.
You know what's crazy about Worthy? That book came to us maybe a week before Peak. You get the book.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can see behind me, it's a lot of books. We don't play around, and it's half of what we have. We moved into this house about 18 months ago, 2 years ago, but we still have a ton of books that are still in the garage. Super, super, super well-read folks. So the book comes. We're in Orlando. The book comes. Boom, boom. Then we go to Peak. Then we see her speak, and it's amazing. Her story is phenomenal. Then I take the family. The day we're going to leave, we're going to go see Dune 2. It's the fourth time for me because I'm a movie nerd. But first time for my wife, first time for a couple of other kids in the family. And there was a Books A Million next to the movie theater. And Books A Million, you don't see a lot of them anymore. Books A Million is like, oh, you know what I mean? Super book nerd. And we walk in, and there's a huge display of the hot books of the moment. And sure enough, it's Jamie Lima's Worthy sitting right there. And I was like, oh, we just saw her speak. Like that was, man, that was cool.
Yeah. The first time I saw her speak was at Unleash the Power Within, Tony Robbins event. So just imagine like 11,000 people in a room and she's walking across and we're all eating out of the palm of her hand. And it was crazy. It was
that story is crazy. Anything that you build, I'm obsessed with craftsmanship. I'm obsessed with grind and hustle and excellence, and anything that you build out of a kitchen and your balls and your word, as Scarface said, is I'm with that.
And then man, just like the adversity that she faced. Oh my goodness. Good Lord. Yeah, good for her, man. Good for her.
Everybody telling you no is full of shit. Let's just anybody telling you no is just full of shit. So to hear that there was that many no's and she just kept
pushing. I mean? Just kept it moving. Like, hey, this is it. This is my destiny.
Absolutely.
All right, my man. So you're currently raising on a deal, right?
Yeah.
Break that down for us. How's that going? What's the deal look like? Why did you guys choose to get involved?
So this thing is all about relationship building. And so there were some relationships built at Peak. We built a relationship right before Peak. BBX Capital has been best in final twice. That was within our first 10 months of being in operation. We don't mess around. We work really hard. We dive at things. And we also, if it's not for us, we don't dive at things. We had deals that were on a silver platter, ready to be handed to us, that we worked hard with the brokers, and they were ready to come and talk to us. And really, we weren't feeling some of the details of those deals. At one point, April of last year, we were laughed out of a table. We were completely laughed off a table.
Really? Wait.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get into it. So without naming names, without saying the market, without anything, there was a deal that wanted $5 million. It was 48 units in a certain market. We did all the work. We did all the underwriting. The deal was actually worth $4.4 million. It was one of the first deals so we joined in December 2022, 2023, hit January, February. We did our fast track. We started underwriting deals in January, busting our ass. We got to April when people were taking us kind of seriously with building all these relationships. We had a deal. Don't want to name the market. Don't want to name the property. Don't want to name anything. But it was 48 units. They wanted $5 million. We did the underwriting. Nope. Your underwriting says that it's worth $4.4 million. I'm big on market research. Market research tells me your deal is actually worth 4.25. We're willing to pay 4.3. They laughed us off the table. That's April 2023.
Wait a second. 4.3. So this is Houston, right?
Nope. It's not Houston. But I'm not going to name the market because that's not fair. I don't want to. It wasn't Houston. Fast forward. It's June. Fast forward. We're still working. We underwrote about 185 deals, 2023. And so I'm in the pool with the kids, and I get a phone call. In the pool right here in the backyard, I get a phone call, and the broker for the deal goes, "Hey, Demetrius, that 4.3, that 4.4 could get this deal done." Well, like Fat Joe said after the Jadakiss freestyle, "Hey man, yesterday's price is not today's price. Let me get the team back together, and we'll re-underwrite that deal." We re-underwrote the deal. Now the deal is at 4.2, 4.25. So we brought that to the table. They were ready to go. We're going through the whole thing. They're ready to hand over on a silver platter. There was a few things that we just didn't, I don't know, and we kept negotiating, and it didn't work out. I mean, when I say silver platter, all we had to do was sign, and we would have been stuck with something that would have absolutely ruined us that early in the game. The next 3 to 5 months go by. We're best and final twice. We keep underwriting. You know, there's a great deal in Abilene. If that deal hadn't have been in Abilene, if it had been in San Antonio or Austin or Houston, it would have gone great. Shout out to the Montalongos. They were sponsors on that deal. We've spoken with them. We love them. If that deal had been somewhere else, it would have been more profitable. So we kept working. Now you fast forward, all of a sudden, we get a deal in Houston. We start partnering with Valorious Capital on that deal. And this is right at the holidays.
Valorious, who's that?
Valorious is it's Jeff Everett, it's Jim Bone, my man Claudio, my man Ratish. It's Valorious Capital is one of my favorite groups that you have, kind of in our network. So we go to partner with them. The partnership is beautiful. The deal isn't quite. It's just not quite good enough. And so, you miss out on that deal. But that deal, we dodged a bullet again on that deal. And so you fast forward, you go to peak. You get to peak, you start to meet. It's our second peak in a row. This is a people business. This is a relationship business. It's not good enough just to talk to people on the phone, send text messages and emails. You got to meet people. You got to see people. You got to touch people. This is right after we met at Race Fest. We go into peak. And so we're getting with the Valorious guys, and we're chatting, we're talking, and then we meet Jake. We meet Jake and from his whole squad and Jake Dean. You meet Jake Dean and everybody from his squad. We ended up having a great dinner. But you're building these relationships. Well, then you get a month or two, and you're still working, you're still underwriting deals, you're still hustling in the game, and you get to a point where all of a sudden a deal pops up and you get a phone call and, we want to work with you guys. We want to, the Regal Fund, that Jake runs, we want to work with you. We want to bang things out. And I could name 16, 15, 25, 30 other people that we met that we have still built relationships for. But when we're talking about the Conquistador like we are right now, that relationship building that was done over peak, that was done after peak, that allowed us to get closer to the guys from the Regal Fund, spawned this opportunity for the Conquistador. 130 units right outside of Kansas City. A beautiful azul balloon. I am a market research nerd. I don't like things that aren't assumable right now, just because there's so many variations, in the market with the interest rates. I like things that are in the Midwest. I don't like things that are in the city in the Midwest. I like things that are adjacent. And I get the call from Dean, who really wanted to work with us, and then I have other business with the guys from Valorious, and we happened to be on a call and realized that we were all on the same deal. And it was like, boom! I didn't, because it was so soon, we didn't realize, man, it's perfect, So let's Let's move. When you're dealing in a people business, we're dealing in a relationship-based business, what you want to do, and this is a thing that I say in life, your life is a freaking train. It's going from A to B, okay? People are going to get on your train. People are going to get off your train, okay? Think about it literally like you're going from Barcelona to Madrid. It's a straight shot, but we're going to take a few stops. And people are going to get on that train and off that train. Some people are going to be on that train forever. Some people are going to get off and get on at another stop. Some people will never get on again. But we all have to be moving towards a goal. So we were having a totally different conversation with Jeff from Valores and realized that we were on a deal together, which just augmented that sense of unity and family and united purpose, which I love. There's mutual respect and eagerness there to work together. So it was a natural fit.
That's good too, because, you know, these deals, they don't wrap up in a week or two, right? So to have that synergy early on, that's super. I've seen so many deals where that isn't the case and they just turn into nightmares. How far outside of the Kansas City, like downtown, or
you're about 25, you're about 20, no traffic, 25, I'd say traffic, probably 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay. I got a deal out in Overland Park, which is more in, not the city center, more of the outskirts of, great metro.
Yeah.
Great, like solid
that
economics.
Man, that whole MSA is so. Here's the thing about the Midwest. The Midwest is so solid. You have people who are, they're going to be there. And then on top of that, you have people who are leaving the coasts who are looking for a more solid life. So you're going to have 4 seasons. You have multiple businesses who are going to be locked in there for long term. You have the ability to, and then when you really look at the numbers, I would say the business that we're in a capital-based business, right? Which means we believe in capitalism. You actually want people to be priced out of buying a home, and you want your economic growth to be so strong that people need housing. Because there's 3 things jobs that you have to have. You have to have food, you have to have clothing, you have to have housing. And that's the beautiful thing about our business, right? So you have enough businesses that are major. Then one of those kind of sideways things I always explain to people that people don't always see, if you have a major sport in your city, that is, your team is successful, economics flows in there. They talk about LeBron, and they forget that LeBron did go to Cleveland. Yeah, he went to LA. They forget that LeBron was Miami and went to LA, but they forget LeBron was in Cleveland. They forget what LeBron and the Cavaliers did for Cleveland. I lived in Portland. What the Portland Trailblazers did for the city of Portland lasted for 25, 30 years. If you have a smaller MSA that is solid in its demographics, but your sports teams are doing well, it's going to bring a whole different influx of money that's outside of your
really good point.
Your standard strategic big Fortune 5. People don't like to think about sports teams as a Fortune 5 because they don't hit those lists. Kansas City Chiefs are bringing a lot of eyes, a lot of money, a lot of development into the area. So that was huge.
Real quick, guys, if you're enjoying the show and want to help us grow, share, shoot us a 5-star rating, and follow the show on Apple or Spotify. My goal is to continue to grow and get bigger and bigger guests on the show to reach more like-minded real estate investors and help everyone be more bold and build more wealth. Now, back to the show. You know, it's funny, like that to that same token, right? Like, yeah, Kansas City Chiefs, they're there permanently. But you know what caused us a really big bump in our numbers? Because we were operating as a hotel for a little bit, short term. But it was when Taylor Swift came to town. Yes. We were sold out for like 4 or 5 days.
And
it was nuts. It was nuts. Yeah. We were like, man, we wish she would come back every week. That Taylor Swift effect was so like.
Well, then look, you got to ride that. Yeah, you got to ride that, right? So the current deal is usually you're seeing 5 to 7 year holds. There's a lot of 10-year holds going on out there. This is a 4-year hold on the Conquistador. And the numbers are beautiful. Like I said, it's just under a 6%, fixed, assumable loan. You're
Nice.
looking right at, you're looking at at a 17%, ARR. Like it's at 130 units. You're right there. You're in a sweet spot, right? Well, at a 4-year hold, I guarantee you that the core of that team, that bustling infrastructure, is going to be there for the next 4 years. So when you're going to go to exit, you're going to be just fine. And then we're right at $9,400 per unit for our premium unit upgrades. It's a beautiful property. It's in a sweet spot. It's off to the west, so it's not to the northeast, which it is what it is, and it's not downtown, which can be in what it is. But it's just it's in a Class A area, and it's a Class B property. It's beautifully taken care of. It's something that I've been super excited of, not just of the property, but also the teams that have come together to make this happen. And then, like I said earlier, we're addicted to the grind. So to put in the grind that we put in over the last 2 years to be invited to work with people that we respect and people that we know and teams that are known and proven, it's been an absolute blessing. And it's the first of many things. Thank you,
man.
Thank you.
It's foot in the door. Foot is officially in the door. And
absolutely.
It's going to be dope to see what else you guys can accomplish. All right. Yeah, shout out to the Regal Fund. I know Jake Dean. I know Jordan. Jordan's on that team
there.
too.
Jordan's crushing it right now. Yeah, absolutely.
Jordan was my coach with Multifamily Mindset. She was on the podcast a few months ago. So
I saw that.
I'm glad that she's kicking butt. So
we had to sit down, and I should say Latina is much more on the underwriting side. So I know there were many of deals that went during our training, our early training, that her and Jordan, sat and banged out stuff. So it's been super dope to relink, later as just baseline professionals in the game.
Partners. Hell yeah.
Yeah, as partners. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, tell me about the food content. I'm assuming you're a chef, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah. Chef by trade.
Break all that down for me, because you puffing out some fire food content, bro.
I appreciate that, man. Chef by trade. I've been cooking since I was 10, 11. I grew up kind of in that industry. My mother was in that industry, so I was very close to that industry. And enough so that when I went to the Navy, some of my recruiters were trying to push me to culinary services, and I was like, no, I have a 99 score on my ASVAB. I'm going to do something that's not, down in the ship. I want to be on the jets. I want to be on the flight deck. I want to work. But as soon as I got out, I did some cooking overseas just because I was bored and it was fun to do, and I had some relationships there. But when I came home from the military, there was a couple of years, you get on your feet, and then I said, hey, man, we're going to move from Central California. I was in the Fresno area, and we were going to go, I let my ex-wife, who was my wife at the time, pick 3 cities. She picked Atlanta, Virginia Beach, and she picked Houston. And I went with Houston because Houston, I had researched at that point, it was 2006, more people ate out per capita in Houston than any city in America at the time. Houston has a beautiful food scene. It's a wonderful food scene. So we got to Houston. Within the first 5 days, I had interviewed at, probably 25 restaurants. I was just walking in, during the off hours because I know the business. Eventually, I had to take my son, who was 1 at the time, in my last run of walking in to talk to chefs. And one chef, instead of laughing me out of the building or ignoring me, Marcus Jimenez, was like, absolutely, you can work in my kitchen. You fast forward from there, because I know we only have so much time. You fast forward from there, I was a sous chef in about 6, 8 months. About 18 months from there, I was opening up the Crudo station at Hotel Derrick, and they had a place called Valentino, which was big in Santa Monica and Vegas. I opened that. A lot of celebrity clients I actually met while I was there, working, because you're working right in front of people's faces. Went from that, opened up 2 other spots, took a little time off, and then said, I don't think I want to be the smartest guy in the room and do these subpar practices that some of these chefs were doing. And I went off on my own to be a private chef. Within a week of me being a private chef, I had Shane Battier, who was well accomplished from Team USA and Duke. He was a lottery pick. He was doing his thing with the Rockets at the time. He was my first client, and another family that was very well known in the oil and gas sector in Houston picked me up. And that was within I was playing Madden. You'll find a theme here with kind of some major points in my life. I'm always just chilling when a phone call comes or an email comes through. But I was playing Madden. Quite honestly, was getting out of the shower, put my drawers on, and was like, let me bang out a game of Madden before I got to go pick up the kids from school. And I did that, and I got a call, and it was Shane Battier's agent, and kind of things went on a run from there. I have several NDAs that are still active, but I have fed everybody from the private side. Everybody you could name and think of, and I don't want to say on the podcast, I would say offline, but the biggest entertainers, some of the biggest athletes.
Beyonce? Okay.
I've definitely, the king and queen have definitely walked right in front of me to go eat my food.
Man, that's dope, man. Yeah. That is crazy. That's crazy.
But the thing about that is that it's not, and when I say the client list is long and it's people always ask, like, how did you accomplish this? How did you accomplish that? Food came first. First was sports, then it was the military, then it was like food, right? The discipline. I get people that hit me up that want to discuss, my son or my daughter really wants to be a chef and wants to do this, wants to do that. Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? If you're not used to waking up and running stadiums at 6 o'clock in the morning and working out for 3 hours, if you're not used to hitting a flight deck and being on that flight deck for 14 hours, 17 hours, you might not be. Look, I get a lot of guys. We came out here. I opened a place out here that will remain unnamed because I don't like how it ended and how it should have gone. And that's another conversation. But these kids weren't ready to put in the time, not even just the time they should put in to develop their own careers, but the time that I was already putting in. Like, this is a grind. I'm addicted to the grind. This is a thing that to create something out of nothing, to sell over and over and over and over again at the highest level. Look, and it was coming out of Houston before we knew we were coming here. This is pre-COVID. I started getting the Food Network calls. That's when I hit Food Network.
Wait, you were on Food Network?
Yeah, I was on Food Network. Big Restaurant Bet came out. It actually was a funny story. It actually came out the weekend of my birthday. My 40th birthday. We actually went back to Houston for my 40th birthday. The first episode came out the week before we left. Second episode came out the week we were there. I was actually getting breakfast at a very well-known diner in downtown Houston that has Food Network on all the time. And it was like my white dress shirt from the night before, no tank top, my slacks from the night before, my Jordan 11s, my Space Jams. And I'm sitting there picking up the food. And I look up at the TV because people were like looking at me. I didn't understand why they were looking at me. And I looked up at the TV and the episode was like on the TV. You know what I mean? And that was, but that opened up a whole nother, once you hit that level, like you're winning. And so it opened up a whole nother door for me to kind of walk through. I was offered a lot of things and we're working on all those things right now. That's why you see the content. But it's just another part of, you got to be multifaceted. It's every successful.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. It's a Swiss Army knife.
Especially this day and age.
Yeah, there's no pigeonhole for me.
When I was out in Philly one time, you remember that show, Restaurant Rescue? I think it was called. Mm-hmm. They were filming that. And we had to sign a disclaimer, and they were doing the show. We didn't see them while we were eating, but when the show finally aired, they found rats in the fucking oven. And I was so tight. Bro. I was man. I was like,
It don't take me long. It don't take me long. I shouldn't even say it like that. I should be real proper to make sure this point gets the hell across. It does not take me long to walk into your upscale place and realize it's smoke and mirrors and I don't want to be here, or walk into your hole in the wall and realize that I'm home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Seriously. Yeah.
That's dope, man. Well, you're killing it, man, and I hope to see you on Netflix. I just started watching all these barbecue shows on Netflix recently.
Netflix. The next joint, maybe next. The one that we're talking about right now is on Max. So you got to go to Max to watch that.
If you end up on Max, let me know.
Right
I will. Like
no,
if you have a show,
the new show,
I will go buy Max for a year and watch all your episodes.
If Max picks us up, what we're working on right now, if Max picks us up, bro, you will get a personal text message.
Hell yeah, bro! You know what?
But it's funny because we're looking at streaming. Yeah, I don't want to be on network TV. Yeah.
Nobody. That network TV is dead, anyways. You don't want to you could honestly, you could do a YouTube show probably.
Facts.
I just started watching that show. It's called Loot on Apple TV, and I don't know if you, David Chang. David Chang is the cook for the billionaire. It's really funny. It's
Me and David Chang have beef though. I got beef with David Chang. He's trying to take away, but that's another. That's another. Here's the thing. I believe in capitalism, but you can't. He's trying to capitalize and like corner the market on chili crisp, like the Chinese chili crisp, like the chili oil crisp. You can't do that, man. That's another conversation. But it is what it is.
Listen. Oh shoot. Yeah. That's dope, man. Well, congrats, man. I love you're living life the way it should be lived. So, congratulations.
Thank you,
I definitely wish prosperity to you, your wife, your children, all 18 of them. And
the whole football team, right? The whole football team.
Oh shoot, man. Well, wrapping up, man, I wanna give you the floor, man. Is there anything? What should the people know about you, my man?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think what people should know about me, and I'm going to put this in two parts. What people should know about me is you definitely are going to get exactly what you see. It's a lot of passion, a lot of dedication. It's a great deal of education. I do not play around or cut any corners when it comes to being informed about what's going on all around me. But the big personality that you see and the gregariousness, and you've been around it, that shit's all real. Like this is very natural.
Hard to fake. Very hard to fake.
Yeah, there's no bullshit there. And then I think, to combine that with the second part, what I want people to understand and know is that me and my partner, my beautiful, lovely wife and I, here at BVX Capital, that is only a piece of it, because what you see behind closed doors is, I don't go nowhere without that one. We call that one the boss. And everything that we do is detail-orientated, dedicated, super passionate about helping people get to that generational wealth, helping people break those generational curses, helping people understand there's a whole world of opportunities out there for them that can help them get to their goals much quicker than they thought before. And that's what we're here to do. And what we don't do with that, we don't cut any corners, man. We don't, the simplest way to say it, man, we don't fuck around. Like, that's just not, we're not here to play with people's retirement. We're not here to play with people's futures. That's why we've not accepted so many deals that people would have rushed into, and why we've taken our time, to curate this business that we're so passionate about. And at the end of the day, it's father, it's husband, it's citizen, it's man, it's human. And all that stuff encompasses this great big, supersized 330-pound big ball of energy that you see, man.
You only 330?
336 actually as last. Yeah,
come on, bro. Last, get your weight up.
Get my weight up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
I love it, man.
I appreciate you, bro. Where can the people find you?
Man, the first and foremost place to go is at Hosanna Bax, right there on IG, at BVX Multifamily on IG as well. You can find my wife at Day Old Mascara on IG, and then she is at Latina Baxter on Facebook. I am at Hosanna Bax on Facebook. And then, of course, www.bvxcapital.com.
Awesome.
Boost your future. Boost your future. Always.
Drop that into the description. Man, thank you so much for hopping on with me. Listeners, thank you for being here with us. Hey, we'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely.
Man.
My guy.
Oh, yeah, bro.